Quarter Scale Grave Digger Builder Update Part 2. I don't know, well, if you remember, the last time you saw this hand, it was kind of bloody and kind of gross. But she's coming along. Fingertips are still sensitive, but I don't know if that'll ever go away. Now my rings fit finally. I wanted to show you one of my monthly maintenance procedures I like to do for the engine, if I can get this positioned right. So this right here is an oil line. Comes from the engine and goes up to the top of the blower to lubricate the gears on the blower things, splines, screws, whatever you call them. So I got the oil in the tank, got the battery pack hooked up, and let's keep an eye on that line. There we go. Do that a couple times. One more. Okay. So yeah, I kind of sort of primed it before turning the camera on. I just wanted to be sure and get it up there so the camera could see it. Here's the master cylinder, which I like to leave off of the truck. It seems I always get air bubbles that creep up, and I've got to work them up to the top with it off like this so I can get the air bubbles out, and then hook it up before the next run. Yeah, I know it's been a couple of years since you last saw this thing running, but I've made some improvements that I did on previous videos, or showed on previous videos. But just to remind you, I took the clutch shoes out of the engine and spun them on the lathe and made them smaller in diameter. So that way the engine will have to spin faster before it engages the clutch and the wheels. When this thing idles, it's still engaging the clutch and spinning the tires, which I'm sure, when I put the brakes on, it's fighting each other. I'm trying to brake and slow down while the engine is trying to move the truck. So that should be an improvement. And then in the transfer case, I've got the belt is twice as wide, and yes, I'm still sticking with a belt drive. It's twice as wide. Instead of ½ inch, now it's a full inch wide. And I've got a spring-loaded belt tensioner that gives it constant tension on the belt. So that should be an improvement. You can see how wide the transfer case is there. Still chilling, huh, Dennis? So let me show you some other projects that I've been doing over the last couple of years. Here's another project on my list. And there's a drop of blood. But let's go upstairs. So these are the wood projects that I was building. Wound up making 3 of them. This first one is the one I was working on when I had my table saw mishap. All kinds of exotic hardwood, everything from oak, maple, walnut, cocobolo rosewood. Here's some Bocote right there, Cerakote, just really cool looking wood. And after building this one, I had some more pieces left over and thought I'd make a short, chubby one. So this guy, here it looks like a vase, and this way it looks like a goblet. And then I got an idea for a third one to make a little differently. This is kind of chunky instead of skinny. It's more chubby. And now these rings, of course, that's all was part of the whole piece. I just machined it down on my wood lathe and cut tools, you know, so I could cut on the inside in here and then cut on this side until the piece broke loose. And that's why they all have that ring. But this guy, I did something different. Between the third and fourth layer, I put another piece so I could cut it out and separate them and then turn them out just so you see more of that cool looking wood. It's a nice snug fit. So now you're thinking, okay, well, what are you going to do with them? Well, of course, part of it was just the challenge of making them. And I suppose you could put a flower, artificial flower in the center. But I like to use them for showing off a stand for some other projects. Here's an aluminum cube and a cube and a cube, 4 cubes that I turned on my non-CNC metal lathe. So that was the first cube I did for practice. And then I got some brass, which is of course more expensive. So this is 5 cubes. So that looks kind of nice. There it is. So now this one is one that I didn't complete intentionally, so you can see how it's done. So there's 5 sides that have been turned, and the undercuts have been made, so it clears the cubes, you know, in the corners that you see here. And when you get it to this point, you fill it up, those 5 holes, with hot glue, and that gets good and hard. And then I've got a round sleeve that I made out of aluminum. I meant to bring that, but I forgot. So it holds it like this, and you put that in your regular 3-jaw chuck, and then you can machine the 6th side, and that's when everything breaks loose. But the glue holds it together, and then you put it in hot water, and then you pick out all the hot glue. So all these projects that I've been working on are projects that don't have instructions. It's a challenge, and it makes it rewarding as well. But then I got the urge to build something with instructions. I was walking through Walmart down their toy aisle, and they had all kinds of that's right, Legos. An indie Lego. I'm like, I mean, that is cool. Only 10 bucks. Okay, so I picked it up, and I really enjoyed putting that together. Yeah, it was only, I don't know, 80, 90 pieces, but it was relaxing. I enjoyed it. And I didn't stop there. So the next time I went back, and I went online, and I kind of sort of went nuts. So here's a Volkswagen. Pretty cool. Everything opens. My first car was a 65 Bug that I painted blue, so I had to get that. And then I went nuts and got, oh my gosh, Extreme Adventure. 2,300 pieces. And what's cool about these guys, hopefully you'll, let me roll this thing. Watch, look at the engine. See, you can see the pistons going up and down, and the crank moves. And this guy's cool, the way the doors open. Spring-loaded doors, and even the lower portion of the door opens up. This handle turns the wheels. This handle opens the back. And there's a knob over here that controls the winch. Has a lock on it, so it, and then you turn this and it pulls it in. So then here's a buggy that has a 6-cylinder, a flat 6-cylinder, like a Porsche or a Corvair. and it has a knob that turns the wheels. And this is a rally car, which has opening doors. And this has a V6 in it. Kind of neat the way you open this up and the wings head out too. And there's the V6. Okay. So, fun stuff. So, thanks for watching, and to be continued.